Rust, you could say, is one of those late bloomer kinds of games. It didn't get much attraction when it was released, but after a few years, its popularity just boomed. So what did happen? Well, it's all thanks to those high-profile YouTubers and streamers who decided to play Rust. One of those YouTubers is the queen of YouTube herself, Valkyrae, who was crowned as the most watched female streamer last 2020. In this video, we'll be looking at Rae's funniest moments on her Rust streamer server. Before we get right into it, hit that like button to show your support, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for future uploads. This is Gaming District. Number 1. Poor Horse. Believe it or not, rescue operations for animals who are stuck are a common occurrence, not only in real life, but also in Rust. In this particular clip, Pokey and the others band together to help Ludwig's horse escape free, since he's been stuck inside a rock. Not really sure how to do that, one member of the group, Skara, decided to poke the horse with his spear to get it to move. The spear did end up freeing the animal, but not in the way the group expected. The gang immediately tries to cover up the evidence before Ludwig found out. Unfortunately, he came back sooner than they expected, and cue horrified screams. Let's just hope that these guys learned their lesson about using spears on animals. Number 2. Not working. If you're still relatively new to the game, it's not uncommon to find yourself forgetting some of the controls or maneuvers in the game. That's exactly what happened with Pokey while they were trying to build a house. While in the process, she decides to go ahead and break the floor by clicking on the option to demolish the structure. She tries again and again, but the structure just won't give way. Fortunately, one of her fans noticed what she was doing wrong. Apparently, she needed to hold the demolish button and wait for it to take effect. It did take quite some time for it to be corrected, which made the whole thing a lot funnier as she struggled and got frustrated. Number 3. Valkyrae and Sukuno's wall. It's hard not to get excited whenever friends give you an awesome unexpected gift. At one moment, Valkyrae decides to play with Sukuno and some of their other streamer friends. Sukuno then decides to give Rae a present for the game, a gun. Both Rae and their other friends got surprised and excited with the gift. Rae immediately decides to flex the gun, jokingly telling them that this was a stick-up. She then casually aims the gun at Sukuno's wall and fires, believing it wasn't loaded. Unfortunately, it was. The bullet goes through the wall, leaving a pretty noticeable damage. Number 4. Starting a cult. Offline TV's Sydney and Lily together make some memorable funny moments in streams. One time, the two were apparently robbed by a group of players. Frustrated with the recent events, they both decide to form a cult, Eye in the Sky, in order to get back at those who robbed them. They invite a hitman named Myth into the server in order to hunt the robbers down. Sydney introduces themselves as members of the Eye in the Sky, which they explain as the cult they recently formed. The entire conversation about the deal for the hit was undoubtedly one of the most entertaining pieces in Rust history, especially because of the randomness of the entire situation. Number 5. Men on a mission. Picking up from Sydney and Lily's move to hire a hitman and end their alleged robber, we now follow the hitman's mission to carry out the hit. He's seen finally locating the base of the robbers, where he proceeds to enter and call out the main perpetrator. He tries to intimidate those inside by flexing his weapon, but unbeknownst to him, the main perpetrator has called backup. In a quick turn of events, the hitman gets shot by an arrow. The struggle continues as he tries to take out two of the perpetrator's men, only for his life to be ended by the perpetrator himself. Maybe the cult of the Eye in the Sky should consider hiring a better hitman next time. Number 6. The one rule in multiplayer games. For anyone who has experience playing multiplayer games, one of the wisest things to do is to be so trustful of other players, and for good reason. It's not uncommon to find a few trolls in these games who wouldn't think twice about ending your character just for the fun of it. In this case, Janice was confronted with a group of strangers who were knocking at her door. Hesitant, she tries not to engage with them and to refuse opening the door. However, after a few minutes, she decides to grab her blade and swing it at the group as sort of a warning. She unfortunately hits one right at the head and deal a devastating blow. Good thing was that the other members were able to revive him. Hooray for video games! Number 7. Sakara being on edge. In this clip, we see what happens when a player becomes a little bit too on edge on the game. Sakara and Janet, aka Cocoa Bars, had a little unsavory experience while playing Rust. Janet, wanting to find their other friend, Celine, goes about scoring the base for her. Skara, on the other hand, hears her approaching, and thinking she was someone else, decides to get his spear to defend himself. At the quick click of the mouse, Skara stabs Janet. When Skara finally realized what he just did, he just broke down laughing at the unfortunate accident, while Janet is left mourning and wondering how an innocent effort to look for their friend ended up with her being speared to death. Number 8. Failed pilot skills. Flying a helicopter is as hard in real life as it is in the game. For this one, we see Valkyrae playing the game with Racy. Both of them ride a helicopter with Ray being the pilot and Racy the passenger at the back seat. Let's just say that Ray's piloting skills weren't the best in the game, leading to one of the most chaotic and hilarious helicopter rides you'll see. This is a moment you're going to want to keep on watching over and over again. Number 9. Too much horsing around. Offline TV's Michael and Lily are such a good match that having both of them play Rust is bound to yield a few hilarious moments, as any normal couple would do. The two tend to horse around and play jokes with each other during the game. In one instance, Lily grabs a saw and just starts injuring Michael's character. Michael, seeing the damage to his character, tried telling Lily to stop. Unfortunately, Lily's mic wasn't working, so she wasn't really hearing anything during the chase. When one of their friends, Toast, comes in, he was greeted by Michael's character bleeding to death. Toast ends up having a good long laugh as Michael's body tragically lays on the ground. Number 10. Poke versus Pokey. This one just all the more reinforces the number 1 rule in multiplayer games. Pokey, who was a member of another team, tells Pokey of an urgent message he needs to read out. While in the middle of reading the message, Poke, out of the blue, pulls out a pistol and starts blasting away at Pokey. Being quick-minded, Pokey quickly tries to hide inside their makeshift base, still trying to process what just happened. She then gets her rifle and starts to return fire, finally killing Poke. Again, guys, don't trust other players. Just don't. Which of these moments from Valkyrae's Rust streamer server do you think is the most hilarious? Sound off in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for future uploads. Until next time.